I just finished remodeling my kitchen and my bathroom. And if I ever think or anticipate selling my house, should I put money into working on the outside, the landscape, for curb appeal?
I think your house has, I know your house, and I think it has fabulous curb appeal. So I wouldn't worry about that. And what you did, you really put your money into the best places, because when we look at where people get the most return for improvements, it's always the bathroom and always the kitchen. And you can anticipate getting 75 to 80% back of the money that you spent on it. Andy's nodding his head. He's agreeing on that. So those were really the places to be putting your money. People like that, even though, you think, oh, you have good windows, good, new HVAC, but where you really get your money back is on the rooms that you spent. So
is the kitchen. So thinking ahead, if I do want to sell my house, a lot of people said, take down your personal pictures and really have it staged. I've heard pros and cons on that. Do you have personal pictures for staging to make it feel a little bit inviting?
I'll give you my opinion, and then and then Andy can too. I think 1 or 2 are fine, because honestly, when I go in a house, I kind of love looking at, the family. But if you have a million pictures on your refrigerator or something like that, what people like to look at are the more, the formal pictures that you have. You have some sweet pictures up of your family, I would definitely leave up. It's only if you have 5,500 pictures of the grandkids. Sorry.
Right. It's not lined all the way down the hallway is what
right, exactly. But 1 or 2, I think, provide a personal touch and actually give some connection between people. Andy, what do you think?
I would, for the most part, I would agree with what you said. A lot of people, especially up stairways. I don't know if you have a 2-story or 1, but a lot of people put pictures almost cascading up the stairways of all their family members. I don't think that's good. Like Lisa said, a few is good, but too many, it feels like your house and not a house that they could picture themselves in. That's the reason people say that, is the less personal things you have, the more somebody else can see it as their potential home.
Oh, sure. And that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Well, think of how you feel if you've ever gone to a new home development and walked into the staged homes there. They just give you this, oh my God, I love this. I could live here, even though you're not really going to have the stuff that they have in. But there is that sense. Whereas if you go in somebody's personal home, their personal style may not match buyers. So it is good to neutralize it as much as possible. And like I said, I've been in your house, and I think that you have great. It's already. I would love to consider your house staged the way it is.
Thank you.
Questions, and for both of you, and again, Lisa's in my home too. But my house was built in 1972. So in the master bedroom, there is a very tiny bathroom. In fact, you can't put your elbow here to here without opening the shower door. And then there's not that big of a closet. So when Dan was alive, we had done a floor plan that would allow kind of an open closet and more of a modernized bathroom. Well, when he was alive, it would be about $18,000. Now I'm assuming, it'd be maybe double, because he would put it on labor. Is that worth it? If I don't know when I'll sell my home, but it'll be, probably less than 10 years.
Yeah. I think that's a lot, and it is hard to modernize, because the tastes now are for the big closets and the big master bath. But if you, what I would do is have somebody help you with this. Look at what other houses are selling in your neighborhood, how well they're selling, if they've redone those things or not. So, when there's an open house in your neighborhood, back when we can have open houses again, go to all of them and look at what they've done, because that's going to give you an idea of, because it's not just purchase price, it's also how long it sits on the market, and whether you're going to have to be lowering your price to make up for that deficit of having, not really a lot of closet space and not a modern bathroom. And if you can see that houses are selling for about, you know, $10,000 to $12,000 more than yours would, on an $18,000 investment, and then you want to do it sooner rather than later so you can enjoy it and you can get some of the benefits
Right.
of the investment. That should be what you're kind of thinking of. So what I would do, Nancy, is over the next year, I'd probably be looking at that. And then make, you know, kind of making a decision based on that. And I know you have help, we'll have help with that too. But that's what I would be doing, because like I said, it's not just, and if the houses are selling for whatever that 80%, 75 to 80% difference would be of what you would spend, then that tells you something. Because if you're going to be on the market for 6 months, you get to add in all those mortgage payments too.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't have had to make. And Andy?
To be honest, I couldn't hear the question that well.
Oh,
So,
Nancy has, yeah, your volume is pretty low, Nancy. Nancy has a house that the master has a very small closet and a really small master bath. Like she was saying, if you stand like this, you can touch it with your elbows. And she had gotten an estimate of $18,000, but I think that was with labor from her husband, who has since passed away. Am I right about that, Nancy?
Yeah, he passed away.
Yeah, no, that it was about $18,000 with his labor. Yeah. So what she's wondering is if it's worthwhile to do it. And then you heard what I said about trying to figure that out.
So that would be to enlarge. She's talking. I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
That would be to enlarge the master closet and bathroom.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting your money in the right place, like Lisa said. But going to the open houses, like Lisa said, is a great idea. It gives you an idea of what's going on in the area. But yeah, that's a good place. Like we were talking about before, that's a good place to get your money back too. So.
But only if you were to do it, you know, sooner rather than later, I think. Because
I tell people this quite a bit. People ask me about redoing bathrooms or kitchens or anything. If it's not something that's going to get worn out, like a carpet or something, I always say do it sooner so you can enjoy it.
I
mean,
agree.
Part of living in your house is you want to enjoy it. So you said you're not looking to move for several years. I think you said it. So you know what? Do it sooner and reap the benefit, and then you'll still reap the benefit when you sell.
You know, because we're so. Can you hear me, Andy?
I can. It's just a little low.
Okay, I've got it as long as it'll go. The thing is, I'm limited on space. It's a 9 by 9, and I can't move the walls out. And so that is a very, you know, and to try to get an open closet and a workable bathroom. We do have a plan, but again, we're not going to be able to increase the square footage.
Yeah, at least I just didn't hear it good. Lisa thinks it's
She
hard to
says
hear
she
to
has a
begin
plan,
with.
but the space is so awkward that it's hard to it's hard to deal with.
What I was saying was Lisa thinks I'm hard of hearing to begin with, so this just proves her point.
That's great.
Oh, thank you. That, you know, you've been very helpful. It is good. It's fun when Lisa had sent the Zoom information, and I thought, you know, we really do have that question, and it is a real estate question. And I think Jill's is the same thing. I really appreciate the input. Thank you.
No problem.
Good. It's fun. It's fun to, we've been having fun doing it. And I don't know, we just got an order here from the governor that we can no longer hold open houses, even though most people have stopped holding them. And so we've been gearing up to do the virtual open houses. Obviously, if a house is vacant, anybody can go in it, but we've been, shooting some video and we've posted some of that. So it's possible, if depending on when you're ready to sell, even in this kind of environment, it's possible to do it. And we're coming, it's fun to come up with these different ideas of how to interact. You know, we can do showings via Zoom like this. We can walk people through houses, and we get to you know, meet with people this way. And it's been exciting. We've been having fun.
An interesting email came out, Lisa. I don't know if you saw it. It was just before we started this today, from the association with Tom Blanchard, the current president, and he did a video about sales, and our sales price, median sales price for March was $319, which
So our
is
prices are
actually
holding.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Prices held, and that's with half of that month really being kind of on lockdown.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That shows you we would have had a really good month. It probably would have gone up. Yeah. So homes are still selling at a good rate. It seems to me, and this is more of a personal opinion, I've been looking at stats every day, and it seems to me that we are getting a little bit less listings on the market. So that has slowed down a little bit. And you know what? Some of that could be people don't want to put their house on right now, especially if they're living in it, which I understand.
Right. Yeah.
But sales are still happening. Homes are still selling. So.
And buyers are still out there, and they're really motivated by interest rates. And there are some people who've had, I've been in contact with a couple of past clients, and they have had rental houses that have vacated, and they're thinking rather than try to re-rent them, that they're going to sell them at this point, because they know that prices are still good, and we don't know what prices are going to be a couple of months from now. We can project, and what we project is that inventory isn't going to change. We're not going to see more houses on the market. It's still going to be a tight inventory, and that means it's a seller's market, because prices won't go down as long as there's demand, and we're still seeing demand because of interest rates. So, but for people who are concerned about that, it is, you know, they are really considering selling. So anything that's vacant is really easy to sell.
Yes.
And anything that's occupied, Andy's been showing some occupied houses, and that's, you know, being handled carefully.
It's a real pain in the butt to put your house on the market right now if you're living in it, because you're trying to be as careful as you can.
Right.
So, you know, there's two ways to do it, basically. You could just do the virtual showings, which that is fine. That's easy. But if you want to do regular type showings where people are going through the house, there's a lot of precautions you got to take. You know, people are having booties out, hand sanitizer. The best case scenario, like I told Lisa, I went in one where they left everything open. I'm talking even the front door was open. They weren't home either. They left right before we got there, and they left every cabinet open, every door outside to the backyard, and they put hand sanitizer in a couple of places. So people are, you know, there's a lot more other things to it. I mean, as a realtor, we can help, but there's a lot of work that goes into doing it that way.
Yeah, because I think virtual, you know, it's a good starting point to see a house that you want to buy. But there's something about walking in a home that connects you to that home. So people need to feel that connection, you know.
Yeah. And one of the ways that that's being handled, if people don't want lots of people just coming in and looking, is you make an offer on a house subject to interior inspection. And then once you've agreed to the other terms, then they can come and look at the house. And what that really does is, instead of having, you know, 4 or 5 parties coming through your home over the course of a period of time, you've just got one at a time,
right.
Which makes it real. And that's what we've been hearing, limit our contacts.
Right.
So,
Well, I think that's going to be just limited just because of what's going on with the virus too.
Well, and it wouldn't be surprising, actually, if some of this stuff actually continues, because yeah, where you will see that, particularly for people who don't want a lot of people going through their house. And you know, I just thought of this. You know how the iBuyers, Zillow, and Open Door have been working with people who don't want, I had some clients who didn't want people going through their house at all. They wouldn't let me sell it on the MLS. I got to help them buy a house. They didn't mind going to other people's houses, but they didn't want anyone going in theirs. And they wound up selling to, I think it was Open Door, and taking a little bit of a hit, but they, you know, the husband just didn't want anybody going through. And actually what we're doing right now is a good combat to that kind of situation, where we say, look, you have to make an offer on the house before you can come into it and get accepted. Right. And I can see where that is going to be really helpful for us in the future. For
sure,
people who are reluctant.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how business can change so quickly. And I think that most of those changes are going to stay, a lot of those are going to stay in place.